Hi there, it's Sarah from Tarot. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well today. Let's see what message Spirit has for us. The Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is about having a scarcity mindset. So when we're too attached to the 3D, we can be hoarding, in a state of controlling. It's I kind of think of this this card as Scrooge. It's a very insecure, where we have a fear of loss and we cling to what little we've got, and we don't trust that what we need will come in and go out. So we can be very resistant to change in this with this card, because change brings the unknown, it brings uncertainty, and when we feel fearful, we kind of cling to anything and everything. It could be a person, or it could be a thought pattern, or anything at all. We just choose to stay small when we're in this state, and the Spirit is always trying to encourage us to let go and trust, because everything is provided. And even though we don't realize it sometimes, when we're in this mindset, this scarcity mindset, that everything is abundantly provided, because the world is imaginal and we can only block it through our imagination. But the Spirit brings things to us whenever we feel blocked. We just have to ask and trust. The next card out is the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is all about resistance. We need to be assertive. So this is the card of conflict and competition. So this can often play out in the physical world, where we feel like we're in some sort of power struggle, but we realize that it's all just in the mind. Whenever we think, we're playing out these scenarios in our head, you know, that this person doesn't like us, or this situation is against us, but it's all completely fabricated in the mind. We're just kind of looping in hypotheticals of things that aren't very helpful. And this resistance feels uncomfortable, but it also distracts us from what we're doing. And the mind is completely at cross purposes when it's in this place, because it's seeing that there's an opposing force in the world, which is completely imaginary, and then just focusing on it and making it seem bigger and bigger. So the Five of Wands is an opportunity to just release the resistance and change the story, because conflict and competition don't really exist. There is a line in the Course that says, if we don't want conflict, then we must give it up entirely and for all time. And you think, well, how can I do that? Because, you know, other people will bring conflict into my experience. I don't have any choice about that. But it takes two to tango, and if we decide that we don't want to fight back, or we don't want to oppose them, then the issue just dies down. And we don't often realize that we have that power, that we have the power to not engage in that way. And then it'll just soften and go away, because we're doing what God wants us to do. We're giving up the separation belief. We're aligning with forgiveness. And then it has a habit of neutralizing things. It just solves the problems for us. The problems dissolve because they're not really there in the first place. They're just manifestations of mind. The Magician. So yeah, the Magician card is about being the alchemist, and we're always the alchemist, because we are the mental power. We have dominion over the earth, as it were. As Jesus used to calm the storms and things, we too can do the same thing. And yes, we may not believe we have that power as of yet, but we do. But we have to have the faith and trust behind it. And quite often we don't feel as if we deserve that power, or it's just kind of unimaginable to us that we have that power, so we squash it within ourselves. But the Spirit is always trying to encourage us to reinforce this mental power, not for the sake of creating miracles, you know, creating miraculous experiences in the world, but just to remind us that we can neutralize everything in the mind, and we can use the mind to bring forth anything. So, you know, when we're children and we have an idea of something that we want to play, and then we just create everything in our imagination. And as adults, we can still do the same thing. but we have a tendency to cultivate things that we don't want. We focus on negative things and things that we don't want, because we have all this guilt and fear. And over time we develop beliefs and patterns that things don't work a certain way, and we become cynical, and then we create the unwanted. Whereas the magician is all about creating what we do want. So we want to be really focusing on our talents, things that light us up, and joining with other people when this card comes out. Joining with people of a like mind, reaching out if we feel stuck and asking, because there's always somebody who wants to meet a need. We may feel as if we have a need and there's no chance that anybody would want to meet it, but there are people that like to meet needs. You know, it'll be the perfect learning or healing opportunity for someone to extend in the way that you want. And that's how the spirit dovetails things together in the world, and how the world is harmonious. So we really need to open up and ask about what we need. The Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is a very fast-moving energy. I think of this card as like rapid spiritual progress, because it's a very single-focused card. Yeah, where we feel very dynamic. We can overcome obstacles when we're in this mindset, because we're right-minded and we have the strength and the flow of the universe with us when we're in this state. So yeah, it's a powerful card. So it's a powerful direction for manifesting as well, the Eight of Wands. Two of Pentacles. Need to move these over now. So the Two of Pentacles is all about making a decision, about juggling priorities, juggling opposing forces. Now, and life is like this. You know, the world is an obstacle course from hell, as Jesus calls it, and we're constantly juggling priorities. You know, do we need to get something done? Or who do we need to please? I think sometimes we can get into a state where we think whoever shouts the loudest is where the attention goes. And the Spirit doesn't want us to think that way. The Spirit wants us to stay right-minded and focus on choosing the Spirit over the ego at all times. Because whenever we do choose the Spirit will guide us about what we need to do. And then it takes the thinking out of it. Because quite often a lot of the thinking and things that the universe just flows, everything just happens. Everything happens as the unfoldment of being. And from our human perspective, we don't see that. We feel as if we're actually physically responsible for things. We're really just responsible for our state of mind, because everything just happens naturally. So it's just to remember that. And that we can let go and trust. And that the world is going to happen. Everything, life is just going to unfold anyway. The Fool. So yeah, the Fool is a brilliant card to remind us that we are clueless, and we're cared for, and we can be very carefree and trusting. The Fool is very open-minded. You can see here in this card that the Fool is just kind of floating, suspended in the middle of nowhere. And that's essentially what we are. Even though we feel as though we're on the ground, we're not. We're just dreaming a dream. So the Fool is in a very tabula rasa kind of mindset, where we're open to anything that comes next. We have this kind of excitement about what comes next. We don't know what's coming next. We don't necessarily even care. We just have this feeling of excitement and trust that what comes next is for our highest good. Oops, that's too many. Whoops, that one wants to fly out. The Knight of Wands. So yeah, the Knight of Wands is when we're in a very kind of spontaneous and adventurous state of mind, where we have lots of energy and we feel initiated by some sort of new idea. So this is an exciting kind of energy to be in. I like being in the Knight of Wands energy because we feel very lit up. We're very in tune with the divine flow. We're excited about what's coming next. We also have that kind of confidence to jump in. The Knights are like the movers and shakers, and they're usually very passionate and spontaneous and very action oriented. And this Knight is the most action oriented. So whenever we're in this state of mind, we kind of jump in with both feet, but not in a naive way, in a very much inspired and aligned way. The Devil. So yeah, the Devil card could come out whenever we are self-sabotaging. And as we go along our journey, then things will come up because we'll be given opportunities and we'll be very excited about something we want to do. And then all our fears about doing it will come up. And we'll get to see the ways that we avoid doing things that make us uncomfortable. It could be putting ourselves out there. It could be uncomfortable, or asking for someone for help, or it can be anything in a myriad of ways. So the Devil is really showing us that we need to look at the things that are being flagged up that are uncomfortable and ask the Spirit for help, because the Spirit will always help us with whatever project we've got going on. But yeah, we do, I think the distortions that we have, they come from our life experiences where we reinterpret things, our own call for love behaviour or somebody else's call for love behaviour. We interpret it in a skewed way. We take things personally, and we know that things are never personal, but because we think we are human beings and we're meant to be human beings, we do take things personally because we always want to strengthen our fragmented self, which is the small self, which we're trying to dissolve. So the Spirit is always trying to help us dissolve and work through our fears and our issues. So when the Devil card comes out, it's that perfect opportunity to look at the ways in which we project and don't think well of other people or don't think well of ourselves, and to hand them over to the Spirit for reinterpretation and for healing. The Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords energy is, she's very intelligent and uncompromising, which we quite often need to be when we're doing some sort of project. Very rational, very no nonsense, but very a powerful authority. So somebody who can communicate what's required in an unemotional way. Somebody who's very diplomatic and discerning. So the Queen of Swords energy is really important when we're doing any kind of project where we need to cut through the nonsense and be very honest and open about what's needed and what we need from other people who are working on the same project. And then the last card is the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is all about expanding our horizons. Yeah, this suggests that it's a great time for us to move forward with whatever project we're doing. That we've got, with the Magician, we've got all the skills and things inside us that we need. We're able to speak our truth. We're able to look at our weaknesses and our distortions, but we also have that open-minded and inspired, active energy to work on. And with the Eight of Wands, we've got that push through, that flow. So yeah, these cards are all really beautiful they just show that we're very aligned with something that we're working on, which is exciting. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again. Love you. Bye.